quickly welcome Pallavi Ahluwalia on the airwaves of Fun Asia Radio 104.9 FM. A very good morning to you, Pallavi. How are you?
A great morning to you, Meetu. Glad to be here on your show this morning, this Wednesday morning with your Business Matters. We're here and we hope to interact with our wonderful community that always has questions for us. So I see that we already have calls coming in. Don't have major updates, just a few announcements or some introductions of laws by some senators, which is not going anywhere yet. So we'll hold on to those updates and take questions instead.
Let's do that. Once again, number in the studio 972-235-5555. Going to our first caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question to Pallavi, please.
Hi, my name is Mirza. I got the immigration in the U.S. This month. I just came. And my son is over 21 years old. Actually, my brother applied my immigration. And they didn't give him immigration. So I have to apply him again. And
Sure. So, and it's a very good question. Yes, if you got your green card through your sibling, which is the family-based fourth category, and your son aged out in the middle, he turned over the age of 21, then he would have not been protected and given the option of coming along. So what you have to do now that you're a green card holder, you would be applying for him, and he is going to fall in a category called F2B, okay, which is a family-based second category B, and that is given to people who are over the age of 21 but remain unmarried. So the moment he gets married, he will not be eligible for this category at all. So that's important. Now, for pretty much the rest of the world, that includes India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, the date that they're processing that is June 8th of 2010. So it's still about 6 years behind.
But his fees and everything already paid yet. And
No. You have to do the I-130 and you have to pay those fees again. You have to pay the fee. Okay. Yes, everything has to be done. It's a new application. Right now, your brother's application has no more value, or it's not there in the record. What has to be established is your relationship with your son, the birth certificate for your son, his identity documents, the related forms that go along with the I-130, which is the G3 to 5A forms for both of you. Those are the ones that have to be submitted.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. All the best.
Thank you for your call. 972-235-5555. Number in the studio. This is Your Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia. Going to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Yes, ma'am. I am a Canadian citizen living in U.S. on H4 with an EAD.
Okay.
Now, I want to ask you, I want to travel to Canada.
All right.
And what kind of difficulties would I face while coming back?
So
will there be any difficulties?
No, there shouldn't be. So you have a H4 marking on your passport, right? They don't require a visa processing for H1s and H4s.
I'm not my H4. I'm living here for last 20 years.
No. So. I'm talking about on the passport. So when you traveled, did CBP mark your passport with the
No, I think I haven't traveled. I haven't traveled on my H4 anytime.
Okay. So then you have to take the related paperwork that relates to your spouse's H1B, their current status, right? And then you would present yourself to the CBP. So basically you need an endorsement from CBP to be able to enter the country. That would require even your approval notice on the 539. So if you change status in the country, then that 539 you would also have, and you have to present it to the CBP. So look through that procedure. There should not be any difficulty if your H1B spouse is being able to maintain their status by being employed and they're okay, then you should not have any trouble either.
And one more thing I want to ask you, if I travel outside the country, the EAD would expire or will be revoked or something like that?
No. So an EAD can be obviously only used when you're here on an H4 status, but when you return, you can resume your EAD. So there is not going to be any cancellation by stepping out.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
All the best.
Thank you for your call. Going to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please. Punish, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. My question is, my sister is a U.S. citizen, and she wants to sponsor my green card. A few days back, I was told that for India, it is 20 years lagging behind. So can you tell me if it is sibling-sponsored green card, when will I get my EAD, and which visa status will I be on?
Yeah. So yes, it's not 20 years behind. That may be a slight exaggeration, but it may be 20 years by the time this pans out. For right now, it is about 13 years behind. For India, they're giving green cards to people who had filed on 15th of May of 2003. So your sister can file for you. She would file an I-130. It would remain pending for a little while, for 2, 3 years, 4 years. And then you have to just wait on the priority date. Now, you cannot maintain status. I don't know what status you are on currently. What is your status? Okay, so maybe the caller is not here to respond to that. But
I'm on an H4.
You're on an H4. Okay, so you will continue to maintain your underlying non-immigrant status. At no point would you let that expire and go on to the sibling-based EAD, because that's not going to happen for 13, 14 years, as we can see on the visa bulletin. Okay, at the time also that you apply for your the 485 that becomes eligible and you're maintaining status, even at that point, up until you get your green card, you'll have to maintain your underlying status. That is a requirement of the family categories, especially if they are on the priority categories F1 through F4, which is F4 would be your category. So your process would be file the I-130, wait for the priority dates to get open, and then you apply for a 485, but underlying you keep maintaining your current status. You don't let that go.
All right. Thank you so much for your call. Going to our next caller, 972-235-5555. The number in the studio, this is Your Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Offices. The number of call and get appointments, you can call 972-361-0606. ahluwalialaw.com is their website. Going to our next caller, Anisha Radio, you are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi, ma'am. Good afternoon. How are you today?
Very well. How are you?
Pretty good, ma'am. I had a quick question. So, me and my wife, I'm on H1, my wife is on H4. She's eligible for EAD. Our H4 expires on April 2nd week, so we have applied for an extension right now.
Okay.
So we can apply for an EAD on that.
No, actually, you can file it concurrently. So earlier the rules did suggest that you needed to file it after the H4 is approved, but we now have started to file it concurrently, and that's been over 8 months, 9 months now, and the government is allowing the process to continue in parallel. They do not reject the EADs. One thing also that you'll have that lets her work is, as soon as the EAD is filed, even if her status is not through and the EAD expires, for example, in April, in January, the new rule is coming out, which allows work to continue based on the pending EAD application. All right, so just get it receipted, just have it there, and that should be okay. The government is also removing the statutory requirement to adjudicate an EAD within 90 days, and they're now making that 180 days, as it may take about 180 days. So they're giving 180-day work authorization based on that.
Okay. So if the H1 extension has already been applied, I can make a separate application for the EAD. Is that correct?
Yes, and you would attach the receipt. So my suggestion was to send it out concurrently. Now it's gone already and it's separate. Is it pending with the H1B or no?
So I haven't received the H1B receipt yet, but I probably will receive it within a week or so.
Okay, so once you have the H1B and the H4 receipt, then you could also use it and apply for the EAD. So just the requirement here to get that automatic extension of work authorization is to apply before it expires. Okay, there is not a deadline right now that's been given as to it has to be 60 days or 30 days or whatever. So at this point, so if she's got work authorization, which is until when? Does she have work authorization till April? This is her first time?
No, she doesn't. This is going to be the first time.
This is going to be her first time. All right. So then, ask her, apply it right now.
Okay. Really appreciate your advice. Thank you so much.
All the best.
Thank you for your call. 972-235-5555 number in the studio. Going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Yes. I have a question. I applied for my brother for a family-based green card. So I applied for him like 2010 in April. But my question is how long take time to process his green card.
Okay. Which country? Which country are you from?
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh, okay. So currently the people that had applied on January 22nd of 2004 are getting their green cards. So it's still about 12 years behind, right? So at this point, 12 and a half, almost 13 years behind. So if you had applied in 2010, you still have a little while to go.
How long? Maybe like 2-3 years more? Or?
Well, for 2010, so right now if they're doing 2004, then I would say at least 6 to 7 years more.
Okay, that's all. Thank you very much.
All the best.
Thank you for your call. Going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi, my question is for Pallavi. Actually, we are planning to go to vacation to Mexico next week, and my wife is using the advanced parole. I am still on H-1B. Her AP will be expiring probably in, I think, early March. Do you think that there can be an issue when coming back from Mexico to US?
No. She should be all right. So it's just, so she does have a passport that's valid, right? She has a passport validity of at least 6 months. So the AP will allow her entry up until the time it expires. So she should be okay.
Okay, so there should not be an issue, right?
I don't think so. No problem.
All right.
All the best.
Appreciate it.
Have a good vacation.
Thank you for your call. Going on to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi, Pallavi. Thanks for being online and answering our questions.
Go ahead, please.
My question was, me and my husband both are U.S. citizens, and we applied for my mother-in-law and my father-in-law for a visit visa from Pakistan.
Okay.
So the last 2 times it got denied, and from those last 2 times, one of the time I was expecting, and I'm expecting now again. So we want to apply for them to come, but we want to know if it'll be easier for us to apply for immigration, or should we go ahead and apply straight away for a visit visa? If we apply for immigration, how long will the process be before they get approved?
It takes about a year if your husband applies for them for the immigrant petition and to get it through the NBC. Now for a visit visa, they've been denied before, and that may be some judgment that the consular officer, even if it's incorrect, that they are making, and that may be related to their ties back to the home country, and the consular officer recognizing them as somebody who may just come back here and stay back with you and not go back. So those are judgments that they make, and they are sometimes snap decisions, but they stay in the record. So if they've been denied twice, I don't think that there would be another chance where they would just go back and approve it unless there is some changed circumstances. So basically, if earlier there was property ownership or a declaration of wealth abroad that was not there in their petition, and now that happens and they can see that, then that gives them a higher chance. Now at any point, if you were to use the fact that you're going to have a baby and you need a hand with them, that is definitely a denial, because the immigration officers will not agree to that. The consular officers actually have a bias against that thought process, because they think that if it is that you need help, then you need to hire locally and not to get parents or relatives to come and help. So that is, so I don't know if the last pregnancy that was used, because that would be definitely a reason to deny. Now at this point, if they can show that they have financial strength as well as emotional ties back to the home country, and they're coming here for a visit to shop and to visit the United States, and that is a circumstance that hasn't been portrayed yet, then I would try it once more. And if it is that, but just with this little bit of a caveat, that it is quite possible that once it's in their record, it's possible that they may not get the B1, and you may have to go through the immigrant petition route.
So it'll be better for us to apply for immigration rather than the visit visa.
Yes, unless circumstances have changed and you can show a little bit more.
And approximately, sorry to cut you off, approximately how long is the process for the immigration for parents?
About a year.
About a year.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All the best to you.
Thank you for your call. 972-235-5555 is the number in the studio. This is Your Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Offices. Ahluwalialaw.com is their website. And for appointments, you can call them at 972-361-0606. Going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You are live on the air. Please go ahead and ask your question to Pallavi.
Hey, my employer said that they have filed for the prevailing wage for my firm on July 30th, and they said that it's still not done. So I'm really confused if they have really filed for it. Do you know, like, what are the processing times for the firm? For Dallas?
Yes. So it's not Dallas. It goes into a national processing pool, and that's the federal government's pool, and that's where all the prevailing wages and their requests go. It is taking 3 to 4 months to process. So when did they say they applied?
Yeah, they said that they filed on July 30th.
Okay, yeah. It should be coming back now. I mean, it should not take more than 3 to 4 months at the max. So it should be getting done now. Just ask for the request and the date that it was filed. Sometimes the Department of Labor also issues what they call RFIs. These are requests for information. And those are spam prone and they kind of disappear somehow from the system. So it's important just to follow up on that to see if there wasn't an RFI that was issued on the job. Because sometimes this job is a little bit extraordinary or the description is not clear. The government will come back and ask for more details. And because of that, I would say just make sure that they check with the Department of Labor by calling the help desk that there was no RFI that was issued there and it was still pending.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All the best.
All right, going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Amar. I have a quick question on the immigration process for the citizenship. I heard there's, I don't know, it's a rumor or something, but this is regarding the background investigation going on through FBI, and I heard that there is a bug in the system, and they're in regarding to fix that system. Is it getting delayed of getting all the background investigations done? So is that a true?
Yeah, yes, and once in a while they do fall. I mean, there may be a system problem or there may be a human resource problem, and they do fall behind. But yes, we have heard that especially with the N400s, they were processing delays, and that was because they were taking a little time for the background checks. Now, whether that was dictated by a bug in the system, we don't know that, or just because it didn't have enough people that were doing it. So at this point, everything was running a little behind, but they should catch up. So if you're planning on filing or you filed, not to worry about it. Just go ahead and just do it, and it'll get resolved once you're in the queue.
Sure.
All right. Thank you for your call. Going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi, my mom applied for my brother, which is she was citizen, and in 2006. Do you know how long it take?
Yeah, so a quick question is, your brother is married with children?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the date that they're processing that for all the South Asian countries right now is March 1st of 2005. So you said she applied in 2006?
Correct.
Okay, she's getting close. That's heartening to hear, because that seems that it's about a year away. Year and a half, I would give them. But they should start to contact you all for the NVC paperwork maybe in another 6 to 8 months.
Okay.
All right.
So within 6 to 8 months. Okay.
Yes, that's when the NVC should make contact and ask for the DS forms and the fees.
Okay. One more question. When my mom applied, at the time my brother has one child, and right now they have another one. So how I added to...
Yeah, Yeah. So earlier, NVC, and that's a very, very good point, and I'm glad I'm being able to bring it up here. Earlier, NVC would accept another birth certificate at the time that they started they issued the fee bills, and at this time they're requiring people to go back and get that approved on. This is an action and an approved case, and that's going to add the little one's name to the petition. Okay, and that will not give NVC trouble because they're going to get an instruction from the USCIS, and that's when they'll issue fee bills. They were again casually doing this earlier by just giving birth certificates, but right now we're seeing them push back and ask to go back to the USCIS, which causes more delays.
Okay, so where can I contact with you? What's your contact information?
Yes, Meetu just does keep passing that on, and she'll be passing that on. You're most welcome, of course. This time it's just for my question answers for the community.
And once again, the number is 972-235-5555. Yes, that's the number in the studio. And to get in touch with Pallavi beyond the show, you do want to get the appointment first, and that you can do by calling 972-361-0606. aluvalialaw.com is the website. Going to our next caller, and probably the last one, so you have to be really quick because we are running out of time. You're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please, very quickly.
Hi, my question regarding I-751, removal of conditional on 2-year green card. I applied before 8 months, and the current processing time is 6 months, but I haven't received anything yet, so I was wondering what should I do?
Yeah, they can take about 13, 14 months to process, even 15 months. The 751 sometimes are a pain. Now, is this to remove conditions together or separately? Are both spouses signing off?
No, my wife is US citizen and I am on green card 2 years.
Yeah, no. But are you filing it with her? She's filing it for you? It is based on both of you still being married, correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So yes, it should take about 12 months, 13 months. You may also have another interview that comes up in the middle. So you're okay. At this point, you're fine.
Okay,
all the best to you.
Thank you so much, and that's all the time we have with Pallavi Ahluwalia today. As always, very thankful that you came in the studio to answer all the legal questions.
My complete pleasure, Meetu. It's a pleasure to be here and to be hosted by you. I am looking forward to being back next week.
Completely. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Your Business Matters.